Good morning, everyone. This is Regina Stevens, the New York Transportation Development Corporation's Assistant Corporate Secretary. Before we begin the meeting this morning, I would ask everyone to please mute your phones unless you are speaking. And I will now take a roll call of the directors to ensure that we have a quorum present on the line. Please say present when you hear your name. Chair Howard Zimsky.
Present.
George Haggerty.
Present.
Kathleen Mize.
Present.
Pravina Haragavan.
Present.
Thank you very much. Chair Zimsky, you may now begin the meeting. We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you, Regina, and good morning to everyone. I now call to order the meeting of the directors of the New York Transportation Development Corporation for Friday, March 5th, 2021. Before we get started, I ask that everyone mute their phones. We've already done that. I'd like to note for the record that due to public health concerns and as authorized by the executive order of the governor, this meeting will be conducted by teleconference. I'll note for the record that the public has been given the opportunity to comment on the agenda items by submitting their written comments by 5 p.m. yesterday, and no comments were received from the public concerning today's agenda items. Directors have received the relevant written materials in advance of today's meeting and are free to ask questions at any time. Before we begin with the substantive portion of the meeting, I would like to ask the directors whether anyone has any potential conflict of interest with respect to today's agenda items, and if so, please make an appropriate disclosure on the record at this time. Are there any conflicts? Okay, hearing none, our first order of business is the approval of the minutes for of the directors' meeting of August 18th, 2020 and November 10th, 2020. Are there any questions, comments, additions, or deletions to either set of minutes? Okay, I will entertain a motion to approve both sets of minutes.
Hi, Howard. This is Pravina. I motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, thanks, Pravina. Is there a second?
Kathleen, I'll
George
second.
Haggerty.
Yeah, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, I'll now ask Peter Heilbrunn to present the next item on today's agenda, requesting authorization to take certain actions for the sale and delivery of New York Transportation Development Corporation's exempt facility revenue bonds, Series 2021. Peter, take it away. Thank you.
Thank you, Howard. Good morning, everyone. Today we are asking the board to approve the operative provisions, sale terms, official statement, bond purchase agreement, related documents, and related actions in connection with the sale and delivery of the New York Transportation Development Corporation, or TDC, or the corporation, exempt facility revenue bond, Series 2021, New York State Thruway Service Areas Project, or the Series 2021 bonds, to be issued in an amount not exceeding $350 million for the benefit of Empire State Thruway Partners, LLC, a Delaware limited liability company, the borrower. The project was induced by this board on February 24th, 2020, and a TEFRA hearing was held on February 3rd, 2021. The borrower has requested that the corporation issue the Series 2021 bonds to finance the design, construction, equipping, commissioning, financing, and otherwise providing for qualified highway facilities for the Governor Thomas E. Dewey Thruway, a 570-mile superhighway system crossing the state of New York, commonly known as the New York State Thruway. More specifically, this will include A, new food and non-fuel retail facilities and related infrastructure to replace 23 existing facilities located on the New York State Thruway. B, renovations and repairs to the food and non-fuel retail facilities and related infrastructure at 4 existing facilities on the Thruway. And C, demolishing existing facilities to enable the construction of the new facilities. Collectively, these 3 elements define the project. The borrower will use the proceeds of the Series 2021 bonds to A, pay a portion of the costs and expenses incurred in connection with the project construction and financing, B, pay a portion of the interest payable on the Series 2021 bonds during project construction, C, pay certain costs of issuing the Series 2021 bonds and other permitted financing costs, and D, fund a debt service reserve fund for the Series 2021 bonds. The land on which the project is located, together with the buildings and related facilities, are owned by the New York State Thruway Authority and leased by the Thruway Authority to the borrower pursuant to a lease agreement dated as of July 21, 2020, the lease agreement. The lease agreement provides, among other things, that the borrower is obligated to construct the project and, during the term of the lease agreement, operate and maintain the project. The lease agreement is currently scheduled to expire on June 30th, 2054. The borrower's sole member is Empire State Thruway Partners Holdings, LLC, or more simply, Holdco, which is wholly owned by Applegreen U.S. Investments, Inc., which is an indirect, wholly owned subsidiary of Applegreen, PLC, or simply Applegreen. Applegreen is an experienced operator of convenience stores and food and beverage concessions and currently operates 559 sites across the U.S., Ireland, and the United Kingdom with over 500 food outlets, incorporating over 20 international brands. The Series 2021 bonds will be issued and secured under an indenture of trust, the indenture, between the corporation and Bank of New York Mellon as trustee and paying agent, the trustee, and will be payable from 1, loan payments made by the borrower to the corporation pursuant to certain loan agreements, 2, monies and obligations held by the trustee under the indenture, 3, certain collateral held by HSBC Bank as the depository and under the control of Bank of New York Mellon as collateral agent, and pursuant to a collateral agency intercreditor and accounts agreement, the collateral agency agreement. 4, a lien on all of the borrower's personal property and fixtures, aside from certain excluded assets as set forth in the security agreement. And 5, all of Holdco's limited liability company membership interests in the borrower, all indebtedness owed to Holdco from the borrower, and all proceeds, dividends, and distributions payable to Holdco pursuant to a pledge agreement. The collateral held by the collateral agent includes all of the borrower's rights and interests under the lease agreement and under other operative agreements, together with certain other security interests for the benefit of the collateral agent on behalf of certain secured parties, including the holders of the Series 2021 bonds. The borrower will also grant to the corporation and the collateral agent, for the benefit of the bondholders, mortgages in the borrower's leasehold interest under the lease agreements pursuant to a building loan leasehold mortgage and a project loan leasehold mortgage, together the TDC leasehold mortgages. The corporation will also assign its right, title, and interest, except for certain reserved rights, under the loan agreements, TDC leasehold mortgages, and related promissory notes as security for the Series 2021 bonds. The Series 2021 bonds will be special limited obligations of the corporation and shall not be a debt of the state or any political subdivision, the Thruway Authority, the New York Job Development Authority, the New York State Urban Development Corporation, or any other local development corporation, agency, or authority of the state. As part of the transaction, the corporation will enter into a bond purchase agreement for the initial underwriting of the Series 2021 bonds. The corporation is being asked to delegate authority to certain authorized officers to approve the maturities, prices, yields, and other terms of the bonds. The Series 2021 bonds are expected to be issued as tax-exempt, fixed-rate bonds, and they will be subject to optional and mandatory redemption at the option of the borrower as permitted by the indenture. The bonds are expected to price and close this month, March 2021. In accordance with the attached resolution, you are hereby requested to 1, approve the terms and authorize the sale of the Series 2021 bonds on a negotiated basis. 2, confirm the appointment of certain professionals. And 3, approve the form and content of the preliminary official statement and various other documents connected with the sale and delivery of the Series 2021 bonds. And 4, authorize certain officers and employees of the corporation to take all actions deemed necessary to accomplish the final sale and delivery of the Series 2021 bonds. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, Peter. Thank you very much. I'll remind everyone to state your name before speaking. Are there any questions or comments from the directors with regard to this item?
Howard, this is George. I have a couple of questions.
Sure, take it away.
How are the lease payments calculated? And follow-up to that is, are they calculated as such to make the minimum payments under the $350 million? Where I'm driving this, so you understand, are lease payments ever going to exceed the amount due on the $350 million loan, such that the New York State Thruway Authority will ever get money for the lease, or what are the circumstances there?
Well, I think that let me locate that. Give me one second. There is a certain minimum payments that are to be made to the Thruway under I believe an operating agreement. If others have further information on the call, they feel free to elaborate.
Yeah, do we have our bond counsel on? Could he please answer that?
Yes, hi, Elaine. This is John Ballin from Rose and O'Connor Bond Counsel. I was trying to follow. Thank you, sir, very much for your question. I'll try and answer it. The lease sets forth the rental payments, and the rental payments have a minimum and then variable components in addition to that. If your question was about TDC, or was it about Thruway?
It's really about the Thruway Authority. I'm just wondering if you have a certain debt obligation on $350 million that has to be repaid by the lessee here. And and I understand the proceeds are going to be used to reconstruct, facilities and so forth, and the lessee here has got the right to then operate these facilities, I would imagine, once built as well, that they're generating income which is more than, because again, I'm not familiar with how the lease, I know they're variable terms and so forth, but is there any money that ever goes back to the New York State Thruway Authority itself in connection with this, or is it all going to be repaid in debt, back to TDC or the bondholders?
Thruway will get lease revenue payments, yes, in addition to the bonds being paid. Did I answer that?
Yeah, kind of generally. And then I'm just curious, it may have nothing to do with this. How is Apple Green selected? Was that a competitive process, or how was that undertaken?
I think the Thruway Authority issued an RFP and selected them.
Okay.
That's correct. It was a lengthy RFP process.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions, George?
Thank you.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, anyone else have any other questions or comments on this item? I noted earlier we don't have any comments from the public with regard to this item. Is there a motion for approval?
Howard, this is Pravina. I motion to approve.
Okay, thanks, Pravina. Is there a second?
This is George. I'll second.
Okay, George, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. There being no further business, may I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll motion to adjourn. It's Pravina.
Nobody wanted to leave. Okay,
Kathleen,
well,
second.
okay. Thank you, everyone, for your participation in today's meeting. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a good weekend, everyone.
You too.
You too.